Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Berkovitz. My wife Zizi and I both work at SAR High School, and we recently, about 2 months ago, moved to Riverdale and joined the TRM community. So please, next time you come to shul and you see me there, come over, introduce yourself. I will look roughly like this. But let's get to the Torah. Of the various groups in Chazal, perhaps the most famous sparring partners were Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. One can hardly learn a parak of Mishnayot without finding an argument between them, and one can imagine how their disputes can probably become really drawn out and heated. But one argument in particular that they had always stuck with me. The Gemara in Eruvin, Daf Yud Gimel Amud Bet, says that for 2.5 years, Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel were stuck in an argument. Noach lo la'adam shenivra o lo. Is it good for humans to have been created or not? Beit Hillel seemingly thought that it was a good thing for God to create humanity, but Beit Shammai disagreed. Beit Shammai thought that in fact it would be better if God never let humanity exist. At the outset, this is a startling argument. Can one really argue that it was bad for humans to have been created if God seemingly thought it was a good idea? He did create us after all. He must have thought it was a good idea. Is Beit Shammai really disagreeing with the Borei Olam, the creator of the world? While this argument itself seems strange, the end of the Gemara is even odder. It says that the Batei Midrash of Hillel and Shammai finally took a vote and sided with Beit Shammai, that it was not good for humans to be created. They took the extreme position. The extreme position won. Ultimately, the Gemara does qualify itself by saying that regardless, now that humans have been created, we must examine our actions and lives. And all that is probably undoubtedly true. But still, we probably should question this Gemara. Why does the Gemara take such a radical stance, saying that it's better for humans to not be created, especially since God, the creator of everything, seemed to thought it was a good idea? He did in fact make us. However, at first glance, if we took a look at the Berieshit story, it might seem that God also did not think it was the best idea to create humans. There are many repetitive refrains throughout the creation story. One of them being the words Ki Tov. When Hashem created the light, he said it was good. Ki Tov. When he created the trees, he said Ki Tov. When he created the fish, he said Ki Tov. But for his last creation, human beings, the phrase Ki Tov is completely missing. From the lack of Ki Tov, we perhaps can maybe read that Hashem himself thought it was not a good idea to create humans. But can that really be the case? Is it really true that it was better for us to not have been created? But then why would God do it? Why are we here? Are we now stuck in a state of pure nihilism where even our Creator thinks we are not capable of good? This issue, however, can be solved once we take a more deeper look to exactly how the word Ki Tov is used in the creation story, as it has a special valence in this context. As stated earlier, Ki Tov is never said about humans, but there is another day that does not have the words Ki Tov. On the second day of creation, when Hashem split the waters into Mayim and Shemayim, there is no Ki Tov mentioned. Rashi explains this omission. He says that the waters might have begun being formed the second day, but the work of the water was not actually finished until the third day, when Hashem formed it into a set place and made the land around it. And in fact, if you look at the third day, Ki Tov is mentioned twice. Once when Hashem finished forming the seas in the land, and another time after he formed the grass and vegetation. What arises from Rashi's observation is that Ki Tov in the creation story has a special meaning. It does not simply mean something was good, it means something was finished. With this, we can easily understand the answer to our second question as to why Ki Tov isn't mentioned in the creation of humans. It's not because humans are inherently bad, it's because human beings aren't finished. We are not created complete and perfect beings. We have to work at improving ourselves our entire lives. We are not created Tov, we have to work towards it. With this understanding of creation and the human condition, I think we can gain a better understanding of the Gemara that we started with. The Mei Shiloach, when reading this Gemara, points out that the argument between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel is not whether it was good for humans to have been created. The argument was whether it was noach, whether it was easy. The Mei Shiloach explains that life is full of doubts with the true meaning of it constantly hidden. And working through these impediments takes energy and effort. But it does not mean that ultimately humans can't achieve real goodness. It just takes work. It takes time. It takes a lifetime of seeking constant improvements, of consistently examining our lives and actions, as the Gemara in Eruvin ends. God did not create us perfect. We are meant instead to constantly strive towards perfection, to strive towards the ideal instead. Shabbat Shalom.